In this Bluenose II Rebuilding History segment, we are looking at the second, third, and fourth ceiling layers. Once the first layer of Douglas fir ceiling has been laid, all the nail and spike heads must be checked to make sure they are set below the surface. Any protruding nail or spike heads must be set, as the next step is to plane and sand the entire surface. Because of the curvature of the hull, at the bow and the stern, the top edges of the ceiling boards need to be trimmed. A batten is used to create a straight line to mark where the ceiling ends need to be cut off. A circular saw is used to cut these ends following the lines drawn on the boards. The second layer of the ceiling is 3/4 inch Douglas fir. It will be laminated with epoxy to the first ceiling on a diagonal. The third layer, also 3/4 inch, will be laminated to the second on the opposite diagonal, and the final layer, or fourth, 1.5 inches thick, will be horizontal. The starter strips for the second layer are nailed in place at the desired angle. Epoxy is rolled onto the hull and the edge of the starter strips and is ready for the next board. The ceiling boards are cut to the proper length, and then epoxy is applied on one side as well as the edges. The boards are quite flexible and can be pushed to match the curvature of the hull. Each board is screwed with fender washers in place and nailed as well. Any epoxy that squeezes out between the boards is scraped off now, as it will be much harder to remove when it has set. As they work down the length of the hull, areas where the epoxy has set will start to be planed and sanded, while more boards are added until the layer is complete. When the epoxy has cured, the screws and fender washers are removed. The third layer is 3/4 inch Douglas fir and is laid on the diagonal opposite the second layer. This layer is applied in the same manner as the previous ones. Each board is screwed with fender washers in place and nailed as well. The next step is to plane and sand the entire surface. At this time, the top ends of both layers are cut off to match the first layer. The final or fourth layer is 1.5 inch Douglas fir, and this is laid horizontally from the bottom to the top. This layer is epoxied and nailed in the same manner as the previous three, but does not require screws or fender washers. When the final layer has been planed and sanded and had any top ends cut off, the combined layers are referred to as the ceiling.